Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to another Thunderbird live hacking session, live coding session, live streaming, whatever you want to call it. But hey, it's Thursday again, and finally, after 3 weeks of not doing anything, I'm back and doing this lovely live streaming. I haven't been doing live streamings for the past 2 or 3 weeks because I was super busy with life in general, but also by doing some core updates to the account setup thingy, like the account setup workflow in terms of being able to properly sign up with Gmail accounts, with OAuth authentication, two-factor authentication. All those things are kind of hard to live stream without showing, of course, like passwords and two-factor authentications workflow. So I couldn't do any live streaming on the things that was working because private things, right? But all that is done. All those fixes and improvements have landed on Trunk or Daily, the daily release of Thunderbird. So now we can focus on some good UI and UX improvements for the account setup. Before doing that, though, I want to show you all the things that have been landing recently in Thunderbird, what you can potentially expect to see in the next extended support release that we're going to release in 2 months. I think it's going to be probably Thunderbird 91, version 91. So yeah, before we start, let me say hi to all the awesome, wonderful people that are showing up in the chat and are participating to this live streaming. Hello, Lucky S77777. Did I read the correct number of sevens? Hello, Avery. Hey, good to see you. Amro, Saleh, it's always good to see you as well. Toha, 96. Hey, Richard. Hello, welcome. All right, so I don't know if you know, but Firefox is introducing a new UI user interface called Photon. No, sorry, this is super confusing. It's called Proton. The previous UI design interface was called Photon, which is what Thunderbird currently uses, the Photon UI. But now they decided to do an extra step and switch to Proton, which is literally one letter. Photon to Proton is one letter. But I understand why they named it that way, because it's part of the atom. I'm just worried that the next version is going to be Electron. It's going to be just super confusing. But anyway, the new Proton UI introduces in some aspects, some minor changes, but in other aspects, some very drastic changes that are causing some issues. So with Thunderbird, we decided to let's not follow the Proton implementation and just stick with what we have right now. Let's override everything that they do and keep a consistent UI, at least for this version. In the future, after the Proton UI, maybe it's fully fledged, it's fully developed, and it's landed, and all the bug fixes and quirks that they're experiencing right now have been fixed, we might consider adopting the new UI, but for now we're not. The problem is that right now they're enabling this thing and they're pushing all these updates, so Thunderbird is automatically inheriting all those visual updates, and we're trying to, I don't know, catch up. We're trying to fix all those things and trying to overcome all those issues as much as possible, as quick as possible before they land new stuff. But if you're a user of daily, like Thunderbird, the daily release, every day you get an update, you will probably experience some UI strangeness, some inconsistencies that we're taking care of. But let me show you what we have. Hello, Draman. Welcome. Ukraine. Hi, Lucky S is from Ukraine. That's awesome. And Avery's writes, yes, as many, I'm not a fan of the not so compact mode. Yeah, that should call it like that. In the menu selection, not so compact mode. That should be the actual name. Yes, I don't understand the reasoning and the all the things that why they decided to do it, but I guess they decided to do it. It's whatever. But my wife is taking a picture of me doing live streaming. Why? Oh no, because my dog is just right underneath my chair. Okay. When I talk at the computer, my dog freaks out because he thinks I'm talking to someone. It's like, who's there? Doesn't see anyone, so goes under the chair. But what I was saying, the problem, like with Firefox, you can potentially get away without using a compact mode, even though compact mode is important, because if you have a small screen, or even if you don't like massive tabs, you should be able to just shrink them down, just occupy as less space as possible. The king, like content, the page is the king and the most important thing that you want to see. So why the top bar has to occupy like this big chunk of space? In Thunderbird, that aspect is even more important, more fundamental, because we have a lot of email, a lot of folders, a lot of rows. There's a lot of content in there. And if the UI is massive and bloated and occupies a lot of space, then you have way less space to actually read the content of your emails, which is very important. So our focus on these thing, it was like, okay, they're removing the compact UI. Thunderbird never had until now a density control setting, because we always shipped a default compact UI. But now, because the UI that it's coming from Firefox is affecting the UI of Thunderbird in a way that it's bloating everything up, instead of overriding everything, let's implement a density control. So if users with one email account, they want to have like a Gmail type of style with just massive tabs, they can do it. But instead, if they don't, we can offer the compact UI. So I'm going to show you what we implemented so far, and it's going to be awesome. I hope it's going to be awesome. But Avery's says, and the standard size is just huge. Don't go wasting all my pixels. Yes, I agree with you. There's nothing, I don't want to say bad things, because I kind of understand the developers and designers of Firefox, where they're coming from and the direction they're getting from management, and the pressure they're under on to ship this thing before the next long support release. But there are a lot of bad UX decisions that have been shipped in that thing, and just many different things. Danny, she's taking a picture of your dog, not you. Yes, she's taking a picture of the dog. I'm not, it's true, I'm not that interesting. Also, I look very bad in pictures. Okay, so what we have so far, this is the standard UI-ish thingy that you, maybe if I switch screen you can see it. This is the standard UI of Thunderbird. It's pretty similar to 78, but now with Photon you already see like these called door hangers or pop-up menu. This is what it's coming from Firefox with the Proton UI. Like, this is very massive. There are a lot of like spacing and margin and empty spaces. The main app menu also, it's pretty huge compared to, actually, if I open 78 here, look how compact it is, and it's small, and it's more manageable because we have a lot of entries and a lot of voices here. Instead, here it almost occupies, with the same amount of entries, occupies almost the same, the entire screen, which is, it's not great. Considering that we have a lot of, especially in the messages, we have a lot of options here. If you select a message, all these options, and there are users that they use the main app menu or their main source, because keyboard accessibility is a thing. So a lot of users cannot right click on a menu or a message to open the sub pop-up menu, or they cannot use a shortcut combination because it's not usable for them. So they need to use the main menu or the pop-up menus and stuff like that. And having all these bloating massive thing is not great. So first thing we implemented the density control. And for now, it's only available in the main app menu in view and density. or in the menu bar. If you are a madman that likes to use menu bars, you have it here. In the menu bar, we have this sort of like preview thing, but we're gonna probably remove it because then also the menus will change size. So when you're hovering something and the size changes, your cursor goes and hover on normal. So you have these sort of like situation that keeps jumping. But it's a thing for another day anyway. But yeah, that's what we did here. We implemented a very simple first step to better control the compact UI in the density, so you can jump to normal if you need more space between elements, or you can go touch completely and have like massive what's that here? Yeah, massive tabs. This is what it would look like if we had accepted the Photon UI coming from Firefox, like massive tabs, massive toolbar, just huge space, massive menu. And now we're trying to slowly mitigate all these things. So this is the default thing. Better control, more flexibility, all this good stuff. So hopefully it will work out. But other things that we implemented, many things that I don't remember now. I'm blanking. But there's a work in progress patch that we just accepted. I just reviewed that. It's gonna also allow you to change the density of the main app menu, so you can compact more or just enlarge it. And yeah, a lot of work on this thing. What I've been working on mostly is the new account setup in a tab. And I showed you the mockups. We did the mockups actually together doing a live stream. And this is what we have right now. I started working on this new patch to update the strings and update the UI. Of course, I removed the old UI and the old styling. And now I'm working on as you can see, the first actual like implementation that has been done is just on the header and on the strings. This form needs to be styled entirely. Another thing that the Photon UI implemented, and I'm not a huge fan of this either, they started changing a lot with colors and sizes, like font sizes. This is like the preferences section. You can see that if we compare it to 78 and you access the preferences in 78, we had these highlight, focus, styling that I liked it a lot because it gave, it was using a different type of style. It was using a very unique style, very recognizable Firefox type of styling, which had this border and then this box shadow outline, like a double outline. And it was nice. It was very easy to recognize and very easy to focus. Now Photon went to 1 pixel. Actually, Proton went with 1 pixel darker blue. And then another thing, they decreased a lot the contrast of the buttons. You can see like in this page, even if you scroll very fast, you can immediately identify where are the buttons, where are the clickable elements, because the color of the clickable elements, it's immediately recognizable. Here, you see how light gray is this button, right? So it's harder to identify which element is clickable because it's a light gray box. So in order to mitigate that, they increase the font size and put it like a bold variation of the font. And I don't like it. It's just I don't just this like it now it looks like a title, because titles usually H tags are bold and they have a stronger variation, and buttons are not visually, the contrast between the button and the background is not enough. It's yes, is I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's okay. Anyway, the account setup, of course, because the Proton UI it's enabled, it's also inheriting those things. It's inheriting those colors or variations and stuff like that. So we need to account for that. And if we access the Figma file, the design that we did, I did during a live streaming, you can see that this style was respecting the previous Photon UI style with this type of highlighting, this type of colors, which I think were very soothing and very nice and very inviting. The new one is kind of like but yeah, this is what we're gonna work on today. I already did the header. I'm replacing the old strings with new strings. Now we need to style the initial form here, and we need to implement the first nice graphic to guide the users and let them know, hey, this is what you can do, blah blah blah. This is so cute. Oh, so many messages. Let me read some messages. Avery's said, I do like the new icons though. Do you? I don't. There's a mistake in the new icons. This is, I don't know if I still have it. Icons. Yeah. There's a mistake in the new icons that I reported it, but I don't know if they're gonna fix it. So these are the old icons. These are like the Photon icons that are 2 pixel thick. And all those icons were perfectly aligned to the pixel grid. This is a screenshot I did in Inkscape. And being perfectly aligned to the pixel grid, it doesn't matter what's your resolution, your web render, how your the screen, how many DPI you have. Those icons will always look sharp. Of course, when you have rounded borders like here, that they are in between pixels, in between the edges, you have these type of things, like these small things. But when you zoom out a lot, your icon is super sharp, because it completely respects the pixel grid. The new icons, on the opposite end, they're not a single one is properly aligned to the pixel grid. So they went with a thinner line, like 1 pixel thinner line, and I like thin and sharp icons. So 1 pixel, I think it's an acceptable solution, but they're not aligned to the pixel grid. So depending on your background, depending on the contrast of your screen, depending on the DPI, the dot per inches, or the resolution of your screen, depending on a lot of factors, you might see a sharp icon or a very blurry pixelated icon, because that's the effect that you get when the icons is rendered in your render engine on the browser, like in your toolbar. And these solution, these effect might variate to user by user, because it's very personal. Like if you have like it depends on your eyes. Like the human eye, person by person changes, and it's capable of adapting, and it's capable of fixing visual mistakes. Our brain is very smart. That's the small example. I don't remember, probably I'm misquoting it, but there's the example that if you put a bunch of different lines and it's all a mess, our brain will interpret those lines as straight lines and fixed lines, because we are trying to fix, like our brain and our eyes are automatically trying to give order to confusion and trying to find the proper thing. That's also why if you have like a row, like a million lines all straight, and you take one line and you put it inclined, you can see immediately the inclined line, because our brain, it's so good at recognizing things out of the ordinary, that it doesn't matter if you have a million lines all straight and only one out of a million is not straight, you immediately go there. It's like, oh, I can see it immediately. It's not straight, that one. So that's what, like, this is an effect that some people will say, oh, it looks sharp to me, and other people say, oh no, this is totally blurry, and it depends on your browser, depends on your the background color that you have. It depends on a lot of factors. So all the new icons are like that, and whatever, I don't like them. Anyway, let's move it on with the comment. Jetson, hello from Brazil. Hello. Danny said they could have used an off-canvas menu at that point. I think focus changes because of accessibility, also colors. Greetings from Sri Lanka. Good to see you again, Alex. Does Photon invest in designers? Is it open source? So, Photon is the current one that Thunderbird is using. Proton is the new one. I know, Lawrence, is super confusing. So potentially everything is open source, and you can contribute and you can suggest fixes and things, but it feels like they're not accepting those things. Like they have a very tight and kind of closed source approach to design these days, but it should be open source. So yeah, Avery says, yes, he does seem suboptimal indeed. Yes, Avery, unfortunately, those icons are not great. Amro says, I thought Thunderbird is separate from Firefox. Why you still need to use similar UI to it? Am I missing something? No, Amro, it's Thunderbird is built on top of Firefox, literally. It's just JavaScript, not just. It's C++ code, Rust code, and JavaScript code running on top of Firefox. So throughout the years, in order to do less work, we try to inherit a lot of things from Firefox, like icons, like tab styling, tab design, page rendering, and all these like main menus, all these type of elements that can be simply reused without doing anything. We have been doing that. Today, we're trying to step away as much as possible, but we still run on the Firefox platform, if you want to call it platform. So it's not completely independent. And if there are some changes that they change things, especially URL related, we are going to see the effect in our in Thunderbird as well. So yeah, Lawrence, protons, it's confusing. Just pick another name. Just a name that doesn't simply change a letter. Yeah, we keep doing the same mistakes. But yeah, so what are we gonna try to do today is gonna do this design, this UI. So moving the labels on top of our forms, having the form and having all the subsequential pages having the same structure with, to the left, we have all the interaction points, and to the right, we use images and we show important links or helper links to the user. So let's start coding this thing, right? This is what we have right now. So we need to flip this thing. So a lot of work have been done to rename everything to account setup, because before we had like emailwizard.js or account creation.css, all these names that were kind of random, and it was very confusing to understand, like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? What are the elements that I need to update? So I did a lot of renaming to make things more consistent. So now all the files that are part of that account setup are called account setup. So I'm gonna open them all. And also the string file account setup.ftl, which is the Fluent file. Here you can see the strings that we're using. And then I think we have, yeah, the account setup.css in the shared file. Yes, this is what we got. Show me what you got. Okay. So here so far, what I've been working. First of all, right now we're using the DTD and properties file, yes, all these things will slowly remove them because we're switching everything to Fluent. We're using the account setup.ftl. So it's a matter of rebuilding and rewriting all the strings and then deleting all the strings that are old, and we don't use these files anymore. Properties and DTDs are old translatable files, bundle strings. We don't want to use them, so get out of here. The thing that I did, I implemented an HTML header, and I did the H1, a couple of P tags, and then the link, which is exactly what I showed you before. Now, let's ignore for now all this stuff, because we had a lot of different panels and different tooltip, a lot of like XUL or Zool element that I'm gonna ignore for now. The UI starts from master VBox here, and we have the hub wrapper and the HTML form, so we can kind of cut that and start styling. But before styling, or before using the main form, I want to create a Flexbox maybe, or a CSS grid container to contain all the main elements. Because as I said here, after the header, we have our structure. That should be like the first column, then the second column, and in the first column, we should have a lot of things. So, and first column. In the first column, we have the form. Then we have the these columns. This column basically encapsulates or will have all the different steps of our sign up workflow. And as you can see, when we have multiple steps and we go on, the image to the right changes. And sometimes when you reach some points, we all should also show some helper links, like you don't know what to do, check the setup documentation, access the support forum. So the right column is sort of like a helper column that is not fundamental to the whole process. So also we need to consider that when we make this thing responsive, this column might most likely disappear entirely, or the image should disappear, and this link text should appear underneath because we can stack them. So potentially a Flexbox design, a Flexbox CSS container might do the trick very easily. And then we have other scenarios, these multiple sections, login error when everything is very long, and then login successful. So the main area basically encapsulates everything, which is gonna be insane. So let's write it down, like the form. Let's write all the steps for now. And in here, in the second column, we can, and second column, here we have two things, most of the times. Image and helper links. These are the two main elements. So okay, oh, a lot of messages. Avery says there are enough elementary particles left to be used as names for redesigns. Next one will probably name Moan. Then they're gonna go with Electron. Techie Press says, if you make a video that's exclusive to converting a DDD, I'm sure that will be a nice way of getting new contributors to Thunderbird, sort of like first good bug. Super devs like you need to work on the hard stuff. Oh, well, thank you. I mean, it's there's not much of like conversion. If you do a Fluent migration, that's complicated as hell. And I did a lot of Fluent migrations last year, but so far it's literally copy the strings, and we're gonna see it, copy the strings from the DTD or properties and put it into Fluent and use Fluent. It's not that complicated. Oh yeah, probably it's gonna happen during one of the live streaming. So first of all, let's do these UI design, right? First of all, we can use an HTML section, and I'm using the HTML column prefix here because we are, yes, in an HTML body, but the root of the body is still Zul, still XUL, because we're still tied to these approach. Unfortunately, we are slowly moving away from Zul. That's why even if we are still in a Zul body, we are using the HTML prefix, because once we are able to remove the Zul root element and just turn into a simple body, we can just do a find and replace all the HTML column thing and everything will work because it's HTML out of the box. But for now, we are forced to do that. And I'm using section because, yay, let's do some semantic thing. Class, we're gonna call it main container, like that. We can count set up, root header, title, description, and here, yes. In this file, there's a lot of old style, so instead of making a mess and trying to update the old style and fix the old style and blah, 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 let's just simply ignore the old style and write a new one. And after we finish writing a new one, let's delete everything that is old. It's easier to manage that way. But here we can do display, flex, flex direction, row, flex wrap. We can make them wrap, and here is I give it a margin like this. So margin inline is for relative emphasis, and I'm using RAM because I want these sizing. I'm using RAM pretty much for everything. I want this sizing except for the line height, because the line height has to be relative to the font size. But a relative emphasis is relative to the root element of the whole page. I don't want to have these margin and paddings relative to the font size of the element that I'm styling, because if the font size changes, then the padding and margin change everything and it's not consistent. I want everything to change based on the root. So if the user scales up or zooms in the entire page, all the sizing they progressively update properly, consistently based on the root element sizing. So we have this main container, and let's give it a couple of sections here. So we can have HTML side, no, a side section, and let's do column 1 and column 2, and let's see how it looks. And then we can start it from the inspector directly. Okay, yeah, column 1, column 2, we got them right here. Of course, now we need to make them grow properly. So I'm already seeing this is a little bit too much, this header. Yes, I think 4, maybe it could be 3. Yeah, this is better. So we can change this header to margin 3 RAM, 4 RAM. Okay, this is good. And then the column here, this needs to be flex 1. If we do flex 1, and then also this other one, we do flex 1. Okay, we got the 2 columns that are exactly 50%. And of course, if we resize it, we didn't do any media queries or breakpoints, so they're gonna stay at 50% both. until we set up a specific media queries and we give them a width of 100%, or we, with the media query, we can simply set these flex direction to column, and they just stack on top of each other with just one simple CSS instead of row. Yeah, it's just very, very easy. So, Amro says, yeah, I don't need to specify a flex direction row. I know. Flex direction row is the default. I prefer to specify it because sometimes the CSS coming from the default styling pages is affecting the CSS of Thunderbird. So I prefer to specify it and just avoid issues. I know it's not necessary, even if I deactivate it, it's still row because it's the default direction, but better safe than sorry. It's just one attribute, it's not creating any issues. Potentially, because we will be using flex column, I don't even need flex wrap at this point, right? So I could potentially remove it, but it's something for a cleanup later. Right now, I like to be thorough, and I like to be maybe redundant even in the declarations, but that's what I like to do. Then here we can start giving some classes. So these two will have the same exact class. How do we call it? Simply column? Solemn. We can call it column, just simply like that, right? Yes, I can use min width and flex wrap as well instead of a media query. Yeah, thank you guys. You're super helpful here on the spot here. So column, let's use column there, and let's put flex 1, and let's give it min width equal to less than 400 pixels. Let's give it that way. And then we want to give a variation here because based on this design, you can see these size of the form, it's way smaller than the size of the second column. So we could potentially use a percentage, like these has to be 30%, like 40%, and this has to be 60% of the page, but better not. I prefer to use fixed width, so we can give it a max width of 500 maybe, but we need to always remember that in the future we're gonna have these sorts of things, like a lot of content here. But I guess in my design I was pretty good to make it fit in the same thing, and I think it's okay. So we can give it a max width of 500 maybe. Yeah, we can do it directly here, right? So min width 400 pixel, max width 500 pixel. So if we grow this, yes, this stops, this grows, gross. This stops, this grows, and then if we scroll, we give this also the min width 400 pixel. And we do flex wrap. Yeah. Boom, boom. Okay. This is one other issue of using Flexbox with styling coming from Firefox. Firefox uses, and I don't know if it's in here, they're slowly removing it, but they're using something like display mods box. Direction LTR. I don't know if it's accessible here, but come on, don't get stuck. Another thing that happens is you can see the container doesn't update the height of the container based on the HTML elements that are stuck in there. And I don't remember if there should be an easy fix on this, but I will deal with that later. For now, it's fine. But I think 400 minimum and max width 500, it's good enough, right? Should be good enough. Yeah. Okay. So we can have a couple of variations here. First of one, first column. Or we could have the form column. How do we want to call it? First column, it's fine. CSS names can be changed pretty easily. First column, we can give it a max width of 500 pixels. Yay. Okay. Then some space here so we can first, let's brutally move the form inside the first column. Where is it? Where is it? It's all the way down here. There you go. HTML form. So we can grab this HTML form, and that's a long ass form. HTML form. Grab it. Can I? No? Okay. Cut. And column 1. Boom. And now we have to update. Oh, you can see all this form was built with H boxes, V boxes, and labels and images. Like, these are not proper HTML tags. These are Zool tags, which they don't work. I mean, they work, but we are stepping away from it. So, yeah, let's give it a try. Oh yeah, clamp. Yeah, clamp. It's super dope. Let's see how it looks. Hey, Sharif. Welcome, welcome. Woohoo! Look at this. Beautiful, hey? Okay, let's fix this thing. I think this has its own style issue. So we have these first column max width. Oh, where is my column flex 1? Oh, typo. That's why it wasn't working. Pa-pa-da! Beautiful. And also all the buttons need to be inside this column. So hub footer, all these buttons need to be inside. Okay. Oh, we have so many things in this page. It's gonna be insane to control, but anyway. Okay, this column, so second column, this one can align items, center, no, it's align content, or it's justify, and never remember. Justify item, no, align item, center, align content, center. Oh, of course it doesn't work because we need a display flex. Okay. Keep forgetting this thing. Justify content center, light items. I don't want to light items to the center, but light content, yes. So this is the second column that should be like this. So we can copy all of this and put it here and have a second column. We have display flex, just align content and justify content center, so everything is good. And then we can give these second column the same classes here. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh my god, this form is massive. Second column. Okay, and let's indent this so we have it. Okay, so let's for now focus on this form and change all these H boxes and labels to the actual style that we wanna implement here. And there's a lot of work that we need to do, but it's already looking, I mean, that the basic structure is pretty basic. So let's do it. Let's do it, guys. You guys are having fun chatting with yourself, talking about CSS. Yeah, container queries are awesome. I can't wait to be using those as well. It's going to be fantastic. Amro, are you talking about Internet Explorer? Is still supported Internet Explorer? I don't know if it's still supported. Line content center, I don't need it. Okay. You're better than me at CSS, Amro. Hey, and I'm doing the CSS styling, but hey, it's open source, so it's good to do these things live. It's fine. I don't care if I'm not good. It's fine. Okay, so first of all, can we get away with this by putting the form as a flex direction column? I think we can, because we don't have any element that it's aligned, right? It's all flex and flex direction column also here. So I think the whole column, the whole first column can be a flex direction column. Hold the form. Yeah, let's do this. I think we can take it away now. Okay. Do we have form ID? Yes. Display flex direction column. Yes, we have it here. These, and we copy these from the home file to the second file. Okay. Then I think we can get away with this form control, this HBox form control, because we don't need it, right? Let's see if we don't need it. I mean, oh, the image. Okay, here's the thing. I think we need these containers, these form control containers, because we have this little trick here, and let me see how it looks actually. We have this little trick where we use images as clickable elements and interactable elements. So I don't want those images to be background images of the form, but I want them to be actual interactable elements, because these needs to be focusable by keyboard and readable by screen readers. So having this form this way, having this container this way, allows us to having these images and putting them in line and having like a floating position, like a negative position to this form. So one thing that we can do, this thing, I think we can put these images inside this form here, and then having this label and form and outside. So put it here and here. Yeah, I think we can do this. Yeah, so I think potentially we're going to remove the form control and having these two and having the images inside the field of the container of the input field. Yes, let's do it that way. Super easy, barely any inconvenience. Sorry, no, that's a catchphrase I shouldn't be using. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's remove this H form and these two images that then we'll need to convert into simple HTML images here, or labels with a background, because they need to be interactable. Okay, label, HBox, HTML, HBox. Okay, let's indent this properly. Let's indent this. Okay, label, and let's indent this. Okay. This should be kind of what we want to do, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, this is the result that we want. And this is still interactive, but if I try to do something here, yes, this is boom, boom, boom. Okay, these changes, please enter your name. Yeah, these can be interactive. Oh, we need to change the selection style when this is not a valid. Yeah, like it happens here when this is not a valid. Enter an email address. Invalid email address. Yeah, these shouldn't do this. Okay, so let's start changing the label to HTML, actual HTML label. And I think we have something like that because we needed to do something. Yeah, for title field. Okay, yeah, that's what I remember. Okay, there's no problem. Okay, so first of all, let's change these HTML label. These two access keys and values are coming from the old DTD or properties file. We need to change, instead of control, we need to use for real name. Real name is the ID of the input field, and we can just put it in line for greppability. And also HTML label shouldn't be self-closing, shouldn't be a self-closing. Here, then we have class autocomplete label. We are gonna check these classes here, if these are still valid, and then there you go. Let's change these name access key, name label. So we do a search for name label. And they should be account creation, name label, your name, access key, username. So what do we wrote here? Your name without the column here. So in the Fluent file, we can define a simple header by double pound signs or double hashtag signs, form fields. Account setup, name label. And if I'm not wrong, this is value equal to your your name, and then is access key equal to n. We were doing this. I'm not sure if it's label value should be value, but we will see. And here we can remove the value and the access key and the class, everything. So here, let's indent, and we can do data L10 n ID equal to our Fluent string ID. That should be the death of it. The Mac build. Okay, new people are showing up. Is there any other option for email backup and data backup from Google Drive? Arvind, wrong place to ask questions. This guy, I have no idea. Raizo Kuken, I was suggested the stream by YouTube randomly. This is so cool. Hey, I'm glad YouTube is suggesting my streams. It's amazing. FTL, what file type is it? It's hello, War God. Spoiler. Hello. It's a Fluent file. Fluent files are these localization type of files that allow you to write some strings, and then these strings will be automatically picked up by Pontoon or another localization software, allowing people around the world to contribute and translate your application. So you define an ID that has to be unique. The bad thing about Fluent files is they are not self-containerized. So if you have multiple Fluent files in the same page and they have the same ID, those are gonna conflict with each other because the ID is not containerized inside the single file. They just leak around everything. And the good thing about Fluent is that asynchronously applies the strings. So it's way faster than actually grabbing a string from a file and apply it on build process or on loading. It does everything asynchronously, and it's faster and it's more flexible. It has a lot of options that we're gonna see probably or maybe not. But here I compiled it, so let's see if it shows up. I don't think it will show up. If it shows up, I'm gonna be, yeah, it doesn't show up because is not value. Hey, where is my label? Did I delete that? Oh, HTML label. L10 and IDs. Can't set up name label. Is not applying these. Why? Account setup name label. Let me check what we did. Fluent, it's sketchy depending on what type of oh, of course we don't have. Okay, so let's not use access keys for now, and I think let's try these. Your name, simply this. This should work, I think. Okay, there you go. And now if I put access key back, does that work? Oh, projectfluent.org. Yes, you can. Yeah, Danny, sorry. Google is not allowing you, even if you're a moderator, is not allowing you to put links on strings. It's projectfluent.org. There you go. It's a localization system for natural sounding translation. Let me see if I can add. Yes, I can put links because this is my stream and I can put links. Thank you, Danny, for the suggestion on putting the link. Oh, there are so many messages here. Yeah, Amro, thank you for publicizing the stream. In Thunderbird, we can transfer the mails from one ID to another email ID. Okay. It's a template engine, blah, 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 blah. So if it's all HTML, if we add a display names and message format to JavaScript, it will make your life easier. Yeah. Victor, so what you say is unboxing the string while encapsulating the values? Wait, what? What are you saying, Victor? I don't know what you're saying, but yeah, let's continue here. Let's see if our access key value worked. Okay, so for real name, access key. Did I write it wrong? No, I shouldn't have. It's access key, right? Oh yeah, it's access key. Yeah. Okay, it's not visualized. That's interesting. So let's see if Firefox is doing something similar and we can steal their code, because they have a more extensive implementation of this thing. So we can go to searchfox.org and search for HTML label, HTML label. Data L10, yeah, and add engine name. Are they using an access keys for these? Add engine name, search, no. They're not using an access keys for this, but add engine alias, no, these are not. Okay, plus toolbar, tool badge for press style box, set password meter, Let's see if these has a password meter. No, there's no access key to that. That's interesting. Can I not use access keys to HTML labels? That sounds super silly. I guess it's not enabled by default, so I need to force it. So I can use data L10N attributes. Yeah, I think I can use these. Let's see if we have something like access key. Okay, let's see if by doing this L10N attributes is equal to access key. Let's see if we force it to use it, does something. I don't think so. But yeah. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, no, it does nothing. Which is interesting. Which is very interesting. I guess we can ignore it for now and then search. Oh, access key N. So if I do Alt N, no, it's using a lot. No, it's intercepting this. So it added the access key, but it's not styling. So I guess the label doesn't style. Woofed. Okay. Hey, DuckDuckGo search. Add access key to HTML label. Global access key, attribute access key. Ah, it doesn't show it, doesn't render it. Oh. It doesn't show it. That's so annoying. Why it doesn't render it? Why? They should have Yeah, whatever. Okay, we got them. All right, let's continue. What is that? Hello, fellow coder. Hello, hello. What distro do you use? It's Pop! OS. I'm using Pop! OS. These are NeoFetch, if you guys are interested. Oops. NeoFetch. This is what I have. What coding language do you use? Right now, I'm coding in HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Very, very simple, but I use a lot of different coding languages. Amrose asks, don't you need to put name or title on the input, or is just the ID? What do you mean? The label needs to reference the ID of the input field. To be attached. Name or title on the input. No, I don't think so. It is okay. All right, so another thing here, we need to... Okay, so let's style something. First of all, let's give it a consistent look here. So we can do this. The form, all the form labels, they should have a font size of, let's put it 0.95 emphasis, and then have a padding block and 3 pixel, and this should be it, I guess. Should be good. Hello, Reed. Hello, Pranaya. I'm working on Thunderbird, the Mozilla email client, which is not Mozilla. It's more independent, but we're still kind of tied to it. Okay, here. Oh my God. One other thing I don't like about the Proton UI, it's how rounded everything is. Everything is super rounded. Like they have this 4 pixel border radius. Not a thing. Not a fan, unfortunately. I'm sorry. And also, what is this? Why the HTML has a padding block of... Oof. Why this margin? Okay, I need to style everything properly. Okay, so yes, the label should be like this. Your name. We leave it to the line height instead of the padding block. Let's leave it to the line height, I guess, for now. Okay. Then here we got a situation because we have these hbox, which is by setting the hbox is basically a Zool element, an XUL element that it's a Flexbox by default. And this hbox Zool element, the box Zool element, was created in the past when Flexbox wasn't a thing. So you were able to do stuff like hbox align center, and it was able to automatically align all the positions center, but I guess we already have the input control style, the display flex and align item stretches. Why? I don't know. Maybe make them grow, whatever, but we can convert these to a simple div that should contain these things. So HTML div class input bar, we can remove this flex1 and align center because it doesn't apply anymore, and HTML div. Okay, can do these and see what happens. Okay. It's exactly the same, which is okay, I guess. That's all we wanted, right? It doesn't change much. Class input container line, center. Okay, let's see, it changes something. Yeah, I want to be align center. Input control. Display flex. Origin. Oof. Center. Okay. And we need to do something to the input field here. So the hub field, we have a field that we don't want this, but we want a hub field, input field. Why do we have multiple things here? Let's call it just simply input field, right? So let's do this. Margin inline 0. Then border radius 3 pixel. Oh, I wish it was possible. Sure. Do we leave the? I guess, yeah, let's leave the photon UI for now. It's so annoying. But here we can do padding block 6 pixel, a little bit larger. And then we can give it, that's it. So we can call this, instead of hub field, we can call it input field. And then here we have input field that I don't understand. Wait for flex grow. Why? Leave it like that. Input control. Oop. Oh my god. Input field. Copy this. Paste. Okay. And then for the input control, do we add the input control as the bottom padding? No, because we need to. What I was thinking is that we could add to the input control that is a wrapper around both the label and the input, we could add a margin bottom for everything. But the problem is that one input doesn't have the margin bottom, the other one has the label, another input has the remember password. So it might be, I mean, we could have it consistently. Yeah, let's add it consistently, and then we can add some exceptions to it, at least when we are in a situation where nothing happens, or when all the fields are the same. Margin block end is let's give it 6 pixels. I always use I like to use multiple of 3 because reasons. I like that type of okay. These we need to set it at flex grow, of course. I remove the flex grow. There's input control, display flex, or where is it? What is it? Block 6. Important. Okay, flex. Okay. Yeah. Put up input field. Alrighty, and then margin in line 0, important as well. Oh no. Should I do this so I can avoid the important tag? Yeah. I think I can do this. I'm hungry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I need to do now is change this placeholder as well. Oh, so first of all, let's see if we have name label, if we're using it anywhere else. Name label, yes, we're using it in add body, address book, account creation, so we cannot remove this. Too bad. Full name placeholder. No, what is that? We need to change the placeholder. Yes, full name placeholder. Is it used anywhere else? No, only here. So we can replace it. And here we keep your full name. Yes, your full name. So here we can align this for grepability. Then data L10 ID, it's equal to count setup name input, and then we can do this count setup name input equal nothing, and then as an attribute we can put placeholder that it's equal to full name, your full name, and then we can delete this because it's not used anywhere else anymore. It's good. Okay, let's build it. Kay said, I don't see any hacking going, boy. Yeah, it's just a cute title. I'm not hacking anything. I'm just actually coding. Okay, there you go. We got our thing that if you click here, selects this is good. And now let's do the same for all of the other fields and we'll call it a day. So what did we do here? We remove, yes. Okay. We remove this. Yeah, we have an alteration here. No margin call. Yeah, also. Hbox. Another thing, it's move these two images inside here. Let's indent properly. Let's indent properly. Then this one is turning into an HTML div. HTML dick. And then this is an HTML label, and we need to close the tag because HTML labels need to have the tag closed. And then control, remove it, HTML label for email. And what did we call it here? Auto feed label box. Wait, what is this auto feed label? Just nothing. It's not used anywhere. Label box. Min width 10 oh, oof. We don't even need these classes anymore. Whatever. That's good. Clean up this mess. And here we can indent it. Go here, and then we can use email a label. Let's see where is used. Is probably here. Yeah, email label, and let's see if it's used anywhere else. Oops. Yes, it's used in a lot of other places. So email address. In the Fluent here, we can basically duplicate both. Instead of name, we can say email, your email address, and the access key was E. And we're gonna see later if will ever work. And then email 3 placeholder, your email address, email 3 placeholder. It's only used here, so we can remove it. Your email address. Where is it? Your email address. Then here we got up field. No, it's input field. URI element. What is this URI element? Nothing. Not used anywhere. Okay, it's just leftover class, which is good. Type email inline, class input field, and then the data L10 ID is the account setup email input, and the label here, data L10 ID is account setup email label. Actually, does this fit in? Yeah, this fits in 140 characters. Input control is the same. HTML div class input control, but align and flex, these two tags are not used anymore. Type email. We can change these later. Okay, let's see if it worked. If we missed anything. Okay. We did the second. Noise. Let's do the third. Of course, yes, we have the problem here that, first of all, this is like massive. You can click also. We will deal with that later. Here, probably we need more space and less space for the label because we need a better spacing. And yeah, let's do it now because it's I don't like this. So first of all, the line height of these should be 1. So we reset it, and then margin block end. Margin block end should be 3 pixel. Yes, perfect. Then we can do this copy and add it here in the, where are we? We are in the form label. Boom, bam. Okay. Then the spacing between the two form fields, or like the two input control fields, is not great. For the input control margin block, we can go up to 9 pixels or even 12. Select me. Yeah, better. A little bit of a better spacing here. I liked it more, this. I liked it. Oh, I said 15 here. Okay, yeah, I don't mind actually. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, 15. Why not? Okay, then we have this as the input padding block. I want more thing. This is a bit larger. But even no, it's okay. I'm not exaggerating here. Let's go. No, let's leave it to 6 then. These are small things that we can deal with that later. Let's do the password now. The password, baby. Okay. From controller. Oh, it's a button. Why are we using a button instead of a link? I mean, I guess it's a button, but okay. This starts out as text, says to empty text show. So the empty text shows, but then changes to type password once it's not empty. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. This can be removed. And this can be what is? Yes, this can be removed. We indent it back once, and then this image for the password has to go inside this container. This is not exciting at all, eh? This is boring. HTML div and close this, remove. Then we got the HTML label and closing the label. And it's for password. Tooltip. Optional, but do we have a tooltip? Optional will only be used to validate the username. Okay, let's see. This should be a title tag though, in order to show it. I think so. Classes are not used. Here can we go here? So let's do these. Password label. See if it's used anywhere else. It's not used anywhere else, so these can be deleted. Perfect. Okay. Here we got the password. Word. Access keys P. Placeholder optional will not be used. Okay. Access key E, and then we have the title tag that we can add, and hopefully that will give us placeholder password. Okay, this is not used anymore, so we can password placeholder. Yeah, we can remove everything. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, good stuff. Then input field, type password, flex1 is not necessary. Did I leave a flex1 here? Perhaps, no, okay. These are not aligned. These not aligned. Okay. Password, class, data, L10, AD, cap, word. Okay, and same thing here, access keys and values. These can be all in one line, account setup, password. Does it fit? Label, yes, it fits. Woohoo! Okay, this should be good. Lol, what are we lolling about? Okay. Let's see how it looks. Run TB. Description, password, text. Where is it? Optional password text. Okay, this is the tooltip that was coming out. We don't need that anymore. Yeah. Yay, our beautiful structure here. Yeah, and also we have the title tooltip. Yeah, there you go, optional. And the title is also, it's not just as good as a tooltip, but it's also readable by screen readers. So for accessibility for blind users, this is important. If you click here, it goes to the password field. We need to style this button. We need to style this little thing to make it properly aligned. And then the form will be kind of similarly complete. I think I'm going to make it slightly tighter, like max width. I guess I can make it 400 as well, right? Yeah, it's a bit larger. Like, do we actually need this massive form here? It's not. Like, who does it? I mean, if you have a massive email, but I mean, first column, max width. Ah, so cute, so tight, tight. Maybe 410. Actually, I like this number for 25. Yeah, there you go. 425. Boom. Alrighty. Yeah, I think this is a yeah, also I need to change this because also these images are using tooltips, right? Yeah, tooltip text. And this should be title, but it's pretty simple to change. It's not no biggie. Not a big deal. Okay. Ooh. Let me commit these things. Add commit and okay. We did good. We did good progress. It's not too bad. Of course, it's a long road till we can do it, but probably in the next live streaming, next Thursday, we're gonna have these almost entirely done, entirely completed, and maybe we can update the tests to account for the new UI. The thing that worries me that it's gonna be kind of like a big endeavor. It's the, where is it? No, this is standard. This, the form to allow users to do a manual configuration. And manual configuration has a lot of different settings and a lot of different options we have incoming and outgoing servers. So I was thinking to use a tab, but already users, they gave some feedback like, no, I want to see everything all together. There's also another thing that I don't really like. So you can see here, I have just cancel and continue. But then in the actual form, we also have the configure manually. Then when you enter some information, at least like a partially valid email, you can add configure manually and it shows the full incoming outgoing. This is the old style layout, right? And I don't like it personally, having this, like, why showing the user a button they cannot use if it's only for a specific section? It's not like you have to, it's not like the continue button is disabled because you need to fill up the form in order to use it. But the continue button is the primary action that you have to do in order to go on. The configure manually, it's something that it's optional and you can do it if you really need to. If you're an expert, if you're a sysadmin, or you're like a network administrator and you need to set up something specific for that scenario, you need to access it. So it's kind of strange giving this much prominence to a button that is not always used, but it's used in some occasions, sometimes, and it just occupies a lot of space here. But I suggested to, okay, let's just, in my mockups, let's just show the manual configuration after you click continue the first time and we find everything. But users started, like, not a lot of users, but some users, they said, I don't want this because it's an extra step. And I understand, like, why do I have to click continue and wait to the auto configuration of Thunderbird to kick in before being able to access the manual configuration? I would argue it's just a click away, and the auto configuration of Thunderbird is like, it takes like 3 seconds. It's not a long wait, but it's something to consider. I really don't like the button always there. This is annoying to me. It's just, yeah. Yeah. things to consider, things to do, lots of user feedback. But yeah, okay, I think we are at the end of this beautiful live streaming because I almost lost my voice now. I've been talking for too long. Oh, it feels like kind of choppy, the camera here, but whatever. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the improvements or the changes that are coming into Thunderbird? If you are on daily release schedule, I know Danny is on daily, just test the density changes, test the new UI, and be sure to report UI strangeness if you see that the Proton UI of Firefox is leaking into Thunderbird and is affecting the UI. We want to change that because we don't like it. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So, and I have to ban. Boom. 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 Done. Maybe use the second column for manual configuration. Amro, I don't know. Ugh. Because then you have those users that they have like massive monitors, like 34 inches monitors, and then they say, oh, I have full screen and I want all my forms to the left, and then now I have the button pushed all the way to the right. Like there are a lot of it. It's never like, oh, let's just put it here and it's gonna be fine. There's always that there are always those users that they are in a specific scenario that is not really an edge case, but might be an edge case, that are gonna hate your solution. It doesn't matter what you do or not. So it's all about finding a good balance that accommodates pretty much everyone, but it also gives us flexibility to fix edge cases and also do a good job in creating a good, clean, and simple UI that everyone, even non-technical people can use. And that's the challenge of it. So yeah, we're working on it, but we'll see. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 90,000 subscribers. Even if I stop doing tutorials because I'm busy, the channel will keep growing, and I don't know, will I ever reach 100K? I don't think so, but we'll see. I'm not holding my breath for that. But thank you guys for participating. Thank you everyone for writing in the chat, asking questions. I love the conversation. Next Thursday I should be doing another live streaming, and we'll see the progress on these account setup hub. So yeah, thank you everyone. Until the next one, as usual, happy coding. Bye bye.